All right. So our next one we're going to be talking about, this is something a little more serious. So before we do it, I want you to think of kind of an ominous sound, kind of like a, like a kind of like spooky music a little bit here. You got something that's kind of a little bit like scary or intimidating or challenging behind it. You can think about that. You know, the moment in Encanto, for those of you in Encanto, when she goes inside Bruno's kind of like castle to climb those things behind it. You hear that kind of like ominous sound. Sing. What do you think? What would you hum some sounds or some music if you have an ominous part for us, Quinn, in your story?
Ominous mean?
Ominous means like kind of scary or spooky or kind of like, potentially bad. That's good. I like it. Ethan, what about you? You got a kind of music in your head for this ominous point?
I was thinking of like Jaws.
Oh yeah.
There
you go.
That's what I was thinking.
You were.
Kind of.
That's good. So that's really good. So now that you got the soundtrack in your head, the next step I want you to think something happens. So I want you to figure out where they are now. So where are these people behind it? And I want you to figure out what happened. And it's going to be something that's like a struggle or an obstacle or a battle or something that happens behind it. So that music's playing. And I want you to think about, where is your character, Quinn, and kind of what do they stumble into that causes some kind of like fear or scariness or struggle. So where is your character and what does she run into that causes her to feel uncomfortable?
She's, you're not supposed to go into the magic cave without
the cove or the cave? Is there also a cave?
Cove.
Okay, the cove.
I'm not supposed to go in the magic cove without somebody helping, without somebody with you. And she went by herself.
Got it. And when she gets in there, what sort of like, is she afraid? Does she see something she shouldn't? Is there a bad guy there?
She peeks in and she sees that the tree is alive, and she gets kind of spooked out.
Perfect. So that's good. So that's a good example of that one here. So what about you, Ethan? What sort of the ominous thing happens and what stumbles into those pieces?
I think the wizard is going on like a quest, and on the quest he stumbles into this murky area that's like this fog and doesn't really know what to expect. And then he sees like dragon eyes like glaring in the distance.
Ooh.
And it's like red, like so you see the red and like the darkness, and he's like scared and doesn't know like what's gonna happen. I think that's like,
I like it. I can see these sort of dragon eyes going. I like Kate's too. This sort of like I can almost see like fire sparks coming out of your character's fingers. These kind of these powerful things. Like that's sort of again, that kind of moment. And so once you have that moment, that ominous thing, then there's always got to be a therefore. Something happens next. So now that we've got this sort of special place here that we've got here. So Quinn, you've got your character who stumbles in and sees that the tree is alive or is glowing or something. Then what happens? What's the next thing that happens? So that causes what to happen? Do you know what it is yet? What happens to her?
The tree sees her and starts talking to her.
Oh, good. So the tree starts to talk to her. That's perfect. So once you see that, then this like next thing happens. So that's the therefore, right? Then the tree sees her. She didn't know it could talk, and it starts to talk to her. So that's great. Ethan, what about you? So now that we've got this kind of this moment, the dragon eye staring, then what happens? Therefore,
the dragons don't see him, but they start talking, and he learns about the dragon's plan, which is like, to have the immortality be only for like the lead dragon. And so now he knows what he has to stop because he overhears their plans.
Perfect. So that's another great example. This idea here of like those ones. I like Kate's got another good one here. This vision then happens. So once this flame thing happens and people,
Daddy,
shun
how do
you.
Spell talk?
TLK. But you can just spell it however. We're all good. We're all friends here. I spell things lots. My editor said I used a lot of I didn't use enough Oxford commas, so don't worry. We all have our problems. Right?
That's what autocorrect's for, Quinn.
Exactly. All right. So now we've got some really, really good pieces here. So we've got a funny moment that's caused something, and we've got kind of this ominous moment.